Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. Welcome to the Depression Recovery Channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. Today is Flashback Friday, a feature in which I republish one of my earlier videos you might not have seen that contains really important coping strategies that will help you attain a better mood. Now here's today's video. The title of today's video is, If You Find Yourself in Hell, Learn to Tread Fire. But first, of course, we have to have our joke, and this is a repeat, but I thought it was really worth telling, one, because of the title of the video, and two, because in Portland this weekend it's supposed to get up to 112 degrees, all-time record. Okay, so when Satan goes bald, there'll be hell to pay. Appropriate, don't you think? All right, so speaking of hell, many people, including myself, have described serious depression as like being in hell, hence the title of my memoir, When Going Through Hell, Don't Stop. Recently, I came upon an amazing piece of writing written by a very talented writer named David Foster Wallace, one of the literary geniuses of the 20th century, who himself he dealt with depression and suicidal ideation, and he described suicide or suicidal pain as being trapped in a burning high-rise. And this is what he said. Make no mistake about people who leap from burning windows. Their terror of falling from a great height is still as great as it would be for you and me standing at the same window just checking out the view. That is, the fear of falling remains a constant. The variable here is the other terror, the fire's flames. When the flames get close enough, falling to death becomes slightly less terrible of the two terrors. It's not desiring the fall, it's the terror of the flames. And yet nobody down on the sidewalk looking up and yelling, "Don't!" and "Hang on!" can understand the jump. Not really. You'd have to be personally been trapped and felt flames to really understand a terror way beyond falling. The first time I read this, I said, wow, an amazing description. Suicidal person stuck between a rock and a hard place. But on reflection, I said, well, I don't know if he's really right there, because when you're in this building, right, which is burning up, you're going to die whether you stay there, or whether you jump. It's just a matter of which way you're going to die, right? Your life's going to come to an end. But when you're in suicidal pain, the pain itself, it feels horrible, it feels terrible, but the pain in itself is not going to kill you. So if you stick out the pain, unlike staying in the building, you're not going to burn up. But the pain can be so terrible, so hot, that you think, well, the only way to end it is to jump out of the building. In other words, end your life. What can you do when you're trapped in the burning building? Well, you can learn to tread fire. What do I mean by treading fire? Well, just as someone who falls in the water treads water, keeps himself above water until rescue comes, treading fire means finding a way to keep your head above the flames until they eventually die back and stop. Now, how do you do this? You got to find a way to turn down the heat, even a little, even 5%, to make it more bearable. So what I'm saying is that unlike the image that Foster Wallace talks about, where you're in this burning building and the flames are getting hotter and hotter and hotter, you have no control. When you're in extreme depressive pain, you do have some control. At first you might not feel you do, but you can learn to do things. For example, when I was in my agitated depressive episode, I would get these horrible anxiety attacks, unbearable. And when that happened, my mind would jump into the future. I'd say, okay, it's always going to be like this. If this is how it's going to be, why bother? I'll just take my life right now and get it over with. Whenever I noticed myself catastrophizing, I would say, cancel, cancel. Then I would close my eyes, take a deep breath, feel my feet on the ground, look around the room, get into the present, and I would then use an affirmation like, this too shall pass, or your pain is not forever. The second thing I would do is I would then take some constructive action. Like I would distract myself by calling a friend or taking a brisk walk around the block, or maybe listening to relaxing music. So the first thing to do is, one, be aware of what you're doing. Two, use the words cancel, cancel to interrupt the thought. And three, doing something to distract yourself or giving yourself a positive message. This was just but one of the strategies I used to stay alive during this horrible depressive episode. Other ones were prayer and spirituality, exercise, social support, various treatments of depression that I used, all sorts of things. And that's what this channel is about, giving you tools and strategies that you can use to tread fire until your pain goes away. Now, I've listed for you some of my favorite videos about treading fire, healing from depression naturally, a reason for hope during hard times, my survival plan for living in hell, and your pain is not forever. Feel free to pause the video and write them down so you can look at them in a later time. And I've provided links to these videos in the description below this video. In conclusion, if you find yourself surrounded by the flames of hopelessness and despair, you don't have to jump to escape them. You can find ways to tread fire until they subside. Remember, these flames are not permanent. If you can hold on, reach out for support, and use these techniques and strategies, like the phoenix, you will rise from the ashes. This all reminds me of some lines from an 18th century hymn that describes this beautifully. Before I read it, however, I wanted to define the word dross, which is used in the hymn. Dross refers to the impurities that are separated and removed when metals are heated and refined to a pure state. Now here's the stanza. When through fiery trials thy pathway shall lie, my grace all sufficient shall be thy supply. The flame shall not hurt thee, I only design thy dross to consume and thy gold to refine. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you found the information on this Flashback Friday video helpful. If so, please give it a like, as likes draw more and more people to this channel and hopefully some more subscribers. You can also leave your comments in the comments section or email me douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you do want to subscribe to this channel, click on my photo in the closing credits. You'll be taken to my subscribe page. And if you click on the bell to the right, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or live chat. And if you want to contribute to this channel and become a patron, simply click on the Patreon image. You'll be taken to my crowdfunding site. And until next video, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.